Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. In today's video I wanted to go over the Rift Odyssey and the heroes that you pretty much need to climb it. So the first team is going to be based around survival and scaling, basically survival gained from the Elmer and the Undying Shield, and scaling from the Elisha Atropos to help Pandora be the main DPS. The relics that I'm using are not that important, but they do help, so if you have those relics it's really ideal. The Planar Gate can be replaced with any other 100 relic energy, so such as Soul Binding Lance or the Underworld Chest pretty much. The Excalibur is amazing because of the crit rate on the Pandora, and the Night Sage because of the attack increase. So as you can see, I'm beating this stage with only 4 heroes, and that's pretty much the only thing you need with this team. So Elisha is the main hero here because without her this team wouldn't be doing anything. For the team 2 I'm using the Mystifiers, which is surprisingly working well. The Sarcophagus is a must-have at 2 stars. It's a relic that you will definitely must have in your PV grinds, especially with Pandora. But this time, since Pandora doesn't need any increased damage, I have put it on my team 2, so the damage is far better, because the team 2 is the only team that is struggling. So as you can see, I'm using plentiful of heroes that are pretty cheap and easy to get. You can get Mulan from the Yggdrasil shop, you can get Ashrid from the Goddess Trial event or any other, or basically the selector for the Mystifiers, which is basically just from logging in. Dullahan is in a lot of cards. I suggest picking him up if you're going with the Tsuki start. The Tsuki start, I have explained how to do it. Event selector card and purchase her from the Oracle shop firstly. And then for the Gaia, pick her from any selector that doesn't have better heroes, or purchase her for the Oracle coins. Both options are fine, whichever you prefer. The second relic that I'm using is Swords of Chaos for the sustain, because this team doesn't have sustain from the Elmer and the Undying Shield combo. So let's go ahead and show you how this exactly works. So this is the combo that I talked about. The Undying Shield keeps backline allies alive as long as at least one frontal ally is alive, which is basically Elmer, because if we check at 7 stars, what Elmer gives is Elmer holds his ground and won't die as long as at least one ally is alive. So basically this is infinite sustain, so your hero's backline won't die. And for the 5th position, you can usually use heroes that retain their effect even if they die. So for example, Ophelia for her HP conversion, so even if she dies, because this says deployed, not alive, when you compare that, for example, with someone like Lucifer, Lucifer clearly states she has to be alive to give her stats to allies, which doesn't really apply to the Ophelia because she's only deployed, which means it will work even if she dies. So that's it, these are the artifacts that I'm using. So position 5 attack increase, the crit damage strike additional, and yeah, pretty simple setup, you can copy it. And you don't really need the 5th hero in here, it basically works without him. The other thing that I wanted to note is the relics, or rather the artifacts for this team are very important. So I'm using increased additional speed for casting ultimate skill, corrode stack limit increase, Mystifier's damage increase, and then speed increase, which benefits the wings, and then the other are not important apart from the boots and the ring for the attack increase. So the way that this works is basically you have your scaling from Elisha and Elmer sustain, so this team you know will win. As for the second team, we are not sure if it will win, but we are hoping it will, and it's not winning, so we have to change something. I usually did run here Lucifer, which is how I climbed initially. I wanted to try without Lucifer, which kind of worked. We can try Ophelia if she works because of the HP conversion from Tsukuyumi. So let's see what Ophelia does. She's not working clearly, so let's try. We can actually swap these two occasionally. See, the second opponent occasionally is stronger, so you can try swapping around the teams and having the second team usually be for the first team. But that's not working either, so we have to use someone that's a lot of stronger. I did play around a lot with the free Diana that I got, so we can try Diana. But basically Rift Odyssey is all about trying and mixing up heroes, so you're not really losing a lot because this is free tries. It's not costing you quite literally anything. You can try Leviathan as well. Leviathan is not working either. So we are going to go back to trying Lucifer and see if Lucifer will work for this team. Lucifer is not working either. I'm wondering what's the issue with it. If we check the clear records show us the heroes that we obviously have. Looks like we have to split the Elmer for the sustain in this team. Apparently that's the key thing that I'm missing. So let's try doing that. Let's try adding Elmer in here with Lucifer. Let's try actually just copying it. Clearly how to use a relic in here. We clearly also have to use a better relic in here. Although clear records clearly show you don't have to, but we're just going to try and use this. So let's see if this will work. It's not working for me. So clear records sometimes will work for you, other times they won't. It's just simply how it works. Oftentimes you have to think about your own teams and try and test a lot. So obviously this one worked. Let's see if this one works. It should, because we do have, yeah. So as you can see, you just have to test around and play around. It's not really oh, Elmer did the most damage. That's quite surprising. But yeah, obviously you can't just simply copy clear records and hope they work, but most of the times they will. But you have to use your brain often enough to actually try, because this clear record wasn't really even ideal. As you can see, there's a lot of good artifacts that are benched for no reason whatsoever. So this fight could have been even easier. Yeah, as you can see, round 1 clear, so pretty easy to deal with. But yeah, the entire point of this video was going to say how much you actually really need the beginner's priority list heroes that I have mentioned, because without them the teams just simply won't work. Hell 85, or rather any stage 85, has a bind, which is a tricky stage a lot of players don't notice. But there are heroes that are not mentioned that have bind removal, such as Ophelia, for example. You can use Ophelia to remove the bind effect, so we can deploy Ophelia in here and have her remove the bind effect for us in the position 2, and this should be enough. Maybe I need a true boost, but maybe I don't, so let's try. Actually, I forgot to deploy the relics. But yeah, you sometimes don't even need a troopus in here, and I also forgot to deploy this. Okay, we can use these are pretty fine, but I do still want to run the crit one. So we will use the crit one, we will use this one as well. It works on Pandora, so why not? I have to deploy at least one hero. So let's try this team for a second. Let's see if it works without a Troopus. It's not working. Let's see if we add a Troopus, what will it do? How will it impact this team? I think I forgot to note, but the bind removal hero actually has to stay alive, so you have to put Ophelia in the back line instead of the front line, which was on me, so pretty bad. But we can at least test now without a Troopus if this team would work. So let's see. It's working even without a Troopus. So yeah, as you've seen, you only really need Elisha, Odin and Pandora. Not Odin, Elmer and Pandora, and basically any bind removal hero for this stage. Obviously we want to keep using a Troopus to have even higher odds of clearing these stages. And then for the second team, we are going to try to use the OC, because he's a bind removal hero with Lucifer, Tiamat and Ashrid. As for the relics, we are going to use the sarcophagus, we are going to use the Blaze of Chaos, and then any chrono relic. For the artifacts, we are going to use the quick deploy and then remove the useless ones. And we can add the ones that are actually usable and great for the battles, such as these ones. Save and click battle and see whether we can clear it now or not. And yeah, easy clear. So yeah, that's really just how to do Rift Odyssey. You have to read a lot, you have to test a lot. Obviously you don't want to use OC in levels that are not important. You want to use better heroes such as Gaia. And let's try again without Lucifer. Some stages you can do without Lucifer, some others you don't. Lucifer is just too strong of a hero. I have tested her a lot and played a lot with her, so she's really just a great hero, and as you can see, she matters a lot. So let's go back again. Mulan 7 would definitely clear this, but since I don't have Mulan 7, it's a bit of a struggle. let's try with Everhand Diana instead. Everhand Diana is amazing hero, really strong hero, but yeah, she's just not helping in this case. Another combo I have noticed working amazingly is something like Lilith and Lucifer. It's just a 6-star Lilith increases the stats a lot, so let's see if this will work in this level. I have played it in the past levels, which have been kind of easier, but let's see how the stats work. Okay, it works, so it's a combo that really is nice, especially if you get a free 6-star Lilith like me from basically nowhere. I will go ahead and try to clear hell up to 100 and update you on there. You may be wondering why I'm not using Jormungand instead of Elisha. Well, that's because Elisha is still a better hero than Jorm at this stage, so with Elisha, this battle can end in like 5 rounds or something, but with your, well, yeah, like yeah, 3 rounds. But if we add Yorm into it, it will end in like 12 rounds or so. So yeah, this is the main team that I'm running for the second team. It's absolutely necessary because if you check the clear records, you will struggle a lot to find some usable ones that are basically fitting your team. So you have to make your own. If you don't have these heroes, you have to test a lot and play a lot with different heroes. So let me show you example of using Yorm instead of Elisha. Elisha was a 3-round clear, this one will be 11 rounds, so a massive difference. You can still clear it obviously, but there is a difference that you can feel and see clearly. So that's why we're using still Elisha instead of other heroes. As for the other heroes in here, this is the team that I found working the best so far, but if you don't have Lucifer, then I'm not sure what to tell you. Feel free to test around and try different versions of teams. Sometimes even Odin comes close, but that's really tricky, and Odin needs to be 7 stars to have the same effect that Elisha has. But yeah, as you've seen, Odin did amazingly here because the damage was clearly better than using any other hero that I would end up using her. Odin, one of the stronger heroes to pick up for sure, but yeah, Lucifer just makes it so much more simple and so much more easier than any other hero. Even if I use someone like Marina or Yormin here, it won't be close to what Odin or Lucifer even do, because Lucifer truly makes the game breakable. Actually, Yorm did amazingly in here, so as you can see, you can even use Yorm in here to increase the skill damage of these heroes, which also benefits you running the artifacts or other, yeah, artifacts that increase the actions like the wings, or even the crit would be perhaps better in here because the team 1 is already overkilling anyway, so you don't have to run strong artifacts apart from these 3, which you don't need on Mystifar's team. So let's try again with Yorm and see what happens. As you can see, team 1 is just overkilling it, and yeah, you can still use Yorm for the second team instead of Odin or instead of the Lucifer. It works greatly, so feel free to test around. There are plentiful heroes that are currently strong and not used, and clear records don't often show those clears. As you can see, I have all heroes in here now, but the previous one I was missing Leandra and no other clear record was showable. So clear records can often lie to you. So feel free to try your own, and basically hopefully you got the right idea. You always want to run the DPS on position 2, on position 5, because that's the slot that you pump up the most for the damage increase. So always DPS on position 5 and the second DPS always on position 3. In this slot I should be using her, or rather Dullahan. So yeah, hopefully this video was helpful, and see you guys later when I try to get to Hell 100 and find a way to beat it. So I did end up beating Hell 100, which was pretty normal team as I have showed in the previous matchup. So the classic Pandora team that I have showed, and the classic Mystifars with Lucifer, obviously, because without Lucifer it's truly a struggle to clear up to here. I'd assume Hella 8 stars also gets up here, but I'm not completely sure, as I have not tested it with Hella because I obviously don't have her. This is a purely free-to-play player account, so I did manage to beat Hell 100. So these were the artifacts that I ended up using in the first team. You can really copy them if you can manage to create the same team, which shouldn't be hard. Elmer 7 stars is basically free because you get him from the Goddess Trials event and from the Palace of Penrose push event, which gives his card. You pick him, you get him 7 stars. insane sustain from him. Ophelia, freed from the Nightmare 100 card, you should definitely pick her first. And then Atropos, obviously free hero, Elisha from the Oracle Store, and Pandora from the Oracle Store or event card if you have some excess event cards from like Dimensional Arena or like the current event, because if your Tsuki is at 7 stars, you don't have to worry about her. The artifacts that I used in the Tsuki team are these, so a lot of actions increases and a lot of corrode basically. And with Lucifer giving them even more ultimates and stuff, it's basically no challenge to beat the Hell 100 boss. And yeah, if you can, feel free to copy. If not, try out your own. As I said, it's a game of experimenting. You need to try and understand how some heroes pair with others. Lucifer is a good pair with Ophelia. But yeah, Hell 100 was quite easy, but the journey up to Hell 100 was quite tricky. It required a lot of testing. I have tested all of these heroes pretty much in my trials, and I haven't ended up using Leviathan at all pretty much. I ended up using Lilith quite a lot, Mulan, Diana, Yorm, and even Odin. Hecate, not that, but I think she's quite good still. And yeah, Eloin is also decent, but the rest of the heroes not really used, unless Katrina you used for the holy armor counter, and Lancelot occasionally to help the Mystifiers. But yeah, these are the two main teams that I cleared hell pretty much with. You don't need any other heroes, so it's pretty much on the track with the heroes priority guide that I released, which is Tsuki 7 into Elisha 6 into Pandora 7, and the rest of the heroes you pretty much get for free from clearing or rather playing the game. Apart from Lucifer, I got quite lucky to get the early summon copy, but I do reckon 7-star Lucifer would be able to get somewhere close to Hell 100 also. So yeah, that was the Rift Odyssey guide for the beginners, or not really a guide but a walkthrough. And hopefully you have learned something. Just try to experiment with the heroes that you own, and see you guys in the next one.